Alright. Now that was a great video, Brett, and that is a question for the ages. True. So, I mean, even going back to Darwin. Now, this be true, which has been shown since then to be true. Why even believe it? Well, believe it because what other choice do you have besides denial of truth, denial of history? Alright. Well, that doesn't really tackle the problem of why you would do it. Well, why I would do it personally, there's just something innately in me that just makes me want to help people selfishly, not giving a shit about what happens to me, which probably only exists because I was brought up that way. Due to I guess maybe my own mother and her TLC, I have developed an innate sense to always want to care, to always want to do whatever I can to enrich the existence of others. I've always been one to hate when good people put themselves down or act as if they aren't even worthy to walk the earth, let alone to even be complimented on anything that they are or that they do. Sometimes I can just feel like maybe it's something not as much as an instinct, but something nurtured in me. But I would also say it's nurtured into most of us. At some point, I'm pretty sure even in you, Brett, there's something throughout life even was not put into you by parental force, but by through living life and saying that when suffering goes without anyone doing anything, without anyone trying, with no sort of attention at all, people just turn a blind eye. I mean, from even things that you posted about your experiences, you've seen that what that does. It doesn't do anything for the human condition. It doesn't do anything for us, not even wholly all the way as a species, and doesn't do anything for us as people. I mean, I'm pretty sure to this day it fucks with you, and you probably still wonder about, like, whatever happened to that kid at that center place that you talked about in that one video, who he got hurt something bad, and then they let him alone for a while, and then finally drove off, saying they're probably going to take him to a hospital, or at least that's what you said that you thought, but he was never seen again, and so many other things. And you maybe could have said something or tried to have, I don't know, gain access to a phone or do something, but instead stay silent and you see what happens. Now, I'm not saying you could have been responsible, but there's so many other people, and you were obviously so young. I remember being so young and being in situations like those and so many others, not knowing what the fuck to do. But this is just a prime example of us seeing when we let others' grievances go unheard, go uncomforted, when we take no action to try and improve our lives or others around us, how it doesn't help us, it doesn't help them, it just makes the world just that much of a suckier place. I honestly even believe that the theistic point of view, this is pouring my eyes, but the theistic point of view honestly comes from their fellow man. We as a species have failed them. So to the point of where they can't even put trust in their own fellow man, so they make up a friend, make up someone who is good, who cares about them, listens to their problems, and even responds to their problems and does things for them, which is a lot of things that we see today all around us. I know I do, but a lot of time men don't, which is honestly is sad. But this is only one thesis on the spawning of the theistic point of view. It's also, there's so many other ones, but I don't know. But I will say that altruism in itself has nothing to do with both of them. Altruism in itself is also within the essence of knowing you won't get a reward. So with anything, the selfish gene thing doesn't even come to account, because we as sentient creatures, I don't believe we have free will, but we have advanced processing and decision making in our brains, and we can make a decision and decide something and believe it or have it engraved in us so strongly, maybe as children or from life experiences, to say, no, that right there is wrong and I need to do something. And that in an essence could be where altruism for a non-believer could come from. Just conditioning from living in this screwy world that we live in. If anything, I would call that a little more noble than it being done by a theist. I mean, honestly, what type of fucking altruism is making a sacrifice and then receiving endless bliss in the hereafter? Have to do with that? That doesn't make any sense. You can't. That's not a real sacrifice. If you sacrifice something and then you get it right back, that doesn't click. That's a logical inconsistency. That makes no sense. There was no real sacrifice then. It was like a favor, like that's just your kickback. So like you do this and then you get paid right back in return. You didn't really do anything special. I mean, if this is true, only if that's true. They could not get anything, just like us, or end up in some sort of torture pit because they pulled the wrong god in the lottery because of the wrong culture, or because some people just didn't have the knowledge of the true nature of the creator of the cosmos, even though they all claim that they did. Who freaking knows? But they're doing something with something already engraved in them in mind, that if I do this, I get if I make the sacrifice, I get reward. They haven't made a sacrifice. So I guess in closing, I don't know if I would go as far as saying that in theism, altruism doesn't exist. Because how can you commit a selfless act if you're not doing something completely selfless? Because at some point, I mean, a lot of them, you're even saying things like they're doing these things to glorify God, or if they were giving up their life and they were already a pretty decent person, they do something like give up their life, they're getting endless bliss in the afterlife. Yeah. So if you're doing something already engraved in your head that you're getting a reward, you haven't made a sacrifice. You just made it somewhat of like a little trade-off, and you're going to get your kickback later on. But yeah, just to reiterate, I guess what I would say is maybe our moral sense engraved in us from our parents and the conditioning of the society where we live, and our highly powerful brains and our decision making, being able to hold a belief so strong that even instincts can ride back seat to it.